Whistler's real estate sales dipped again this quarter, but prices held steady. So what's really going on? Let's unpack the numbers and what they mean for your next move. I'm Dean Linnell. I've been helping people buy and sell property in Whistler and Pemberton for 27 years, and every month I break down the most important trends so you can make smart real estate decisions. Let's dive right into the numbers for the third quarter of 2025. Starting with Whistler, sales activity remained relatively slow throughout the summer, with 106 total transactions recorded in Q3. That's a 9% dip from the second quarter and a modest 3% decline compared to the same quarter last year. Even with fewer sales, we saw price stability across all property types: single-family homes, townhomes, and condos, holding firm year over year. Inventory also remained fairly steady, ending the quarter with 320 active listings. That's about 4% lower than this time last year. But when we look closer by property type, the story changes. Townhome inventory declined by 22% compared to last year, while condo inventory rose by 32%. Within the condo segment, Phase 2 hotel-style units nearly doubled in inventory, and Phase 1 nightly rental units saw a 20% increase. When it comes to buyer origin, the vast majority, 86%, were from BC, slightly higher than the historic average. Another 8% of buyers came from the US. The luxury market also remained active in Q3 with 9 sales over $4 million. Of those, 4 sold more than $5 million, including a top sale of $12.65 million. Overall, the market in Whistler remains relatively balanced as we move into fall. Now, turning to Pemberton, the market there also experienced a Q3 slowdown. July posted the strongest sales volume of the year so far, followed by an average August and a quieter September, which ended up being the lowest monthly total in 2025 to date. The quarter closed with 26 total sales, which is slightly ahead of Q2, but down 3 transactions from Q3 of last year. Inventory in Pemberton sits at 82 units, or 57 if you exclude vacant land. This is the highest inventory level we've seen since September of last year. In terms of pricing, the market saw softening across the board. Single-family homes were down 12% year over year, townhomes dipped 4%, and condos were down 14%. Despite this, the luxury segment was still active, with a top sale of $2.45 million in Pemberton, the fourth property to sell over $2 million in Pemberton this year. Buyer origins stayed consistent with past trends, with 82% of buyers coming from Pemberton, Whistler, or Squamish. 7% came from Vancouver and nearly 6% from other Canadian or international markets. Right now, the market in Pemberton is leaning in favor of buyers. Looking ahead, the Bank of Canada reduced interest rates in mid-September, the first cut since March, and there's growing speculation that we could see another rate cut before year-end, depending on inflation and other broader economic factors. That potential shift is already beginning to rebuild some of the buyer confidence that's been missing in recent months. As of the end of Q3, Whistler is trailing 2024's sales pace by 14% and Pemberton by 11%. But we do expect those gaps to narrow in Q4, and it's likely that total 2025 sales will still come close to matching last year's numbers in both markets. We typically see an active fall in Whistler as buyers look to secure properties before ski season, and in Pemberton, we anticipate a steady close to the year in line with trends we've been seeing throughout 2025. Whistler and Pemberton are very distinct markets. They don't always follow broader regional trends, which is why it's so important to rely on local expert insight when navigating a purchase or a sale. If you have questions about any segment of the market, don't hesitate to reach out. If you've been thinking about making a move this year or even early next year, now is a great time to start planning. I'm happy to talk it through. Just reach out at my contact info in the description below, and we'll find your best next step.